Okay. Next, I'd like to talk to you about some tools that we're working on using fawn data and eventually using the farm weather data as well. For right now, it's limited to just fawn sites, but the other sites will come online very shortly. And these we've been working on for a number of years, and we've been trying to evaluate them. They all work on a soil water balance method using daily soil water loss from evapotranspiration. And we talked about that earlier, how to calculate ET. We use weather data from fawn to calculate the ET, and then we use the proper crop coefficients and soil factors in the models, as well as having soil type information for water holding capacities and things like that for the soils that you would enter into the program. We have a couple different ways of doing this. Through fawn, you saw the irrigation scheduler. We have that. We've had that for a period of time, and I know a lot of growers are using that and are quite pleased with the answers that they get from that. But we've gone a second step further. That would be the web-based program. We've gone to a PC program where you would select your fawn site. Requires the same information as the irrigation scheduler through fawn, but you can add, there are ways of modifying it so you can make it more customized to your specific location. It also stores the information, both the irrigation information you put into the program, but also the calculated evapotranspiration and water use that we estimate. It stores that so you can print that out, look at your water use over time, see how that's how it's working for you, just to see how you've been able to utilize this program. And then we have some reports that we're generating that you can keep on file. This is the fawn website. We've seen that. You can go there and look at the tools. The web-based asked for information such as the fawn station that you want to use, the tree spacing, irrigation depth, irrigation specifications as far as the pattern design of your microsprinkler, the diameter of your microsprinkler, and the output of your microsprinkler. That's all you really need to put into the fawn citrus irrigation scheduler. You select a soil fill capacity there, and then the allowable depletions that we talked about earlier are default. We have those built in. You can't really change them, but they're using the current IFAS recommendation. If we come up with new recommendations for greening, those will change. The outputs, you get the crop ET, you get the interval between irrigations, number of days between irrigations, and then you get how many hours and minutes you need to run your system. The PC-based system is very similar to that. We've been testing this for quite a while at Orange Co. out here, and I think we've got it pretty well worked out as far as the bugs. We're still working through a few things, but here you can enter a block name. You can put the distance between in the row between trees, distance between the rows, number of acres that you're irrigating, tree age, the wetted diameter of your microsprinkler, your pattern, whether it's a 360, it defaults to 360, but you can put a 180 or 90 degree in there if you wish for smaller trees. You have a flow rate in gallons per hour, and then you can put an efficiency. It defaults to 85, which is a protection for you. If anything, it's going to overestimate your irrigation by just a little bit. Efficiencies for microsprinklers are about 90 to 95. So by putting the efficiency at 85, you're not going to run the risk of shorting yourself on irrigation. But you're not going to greatly over-irrigate either. You select a soil type that gives you the information for field capacity and other things that are associated with that soil type. There's a pull-down menu to select that. You can default all the irrigation depth by the soil type. We have a example soil depth for each soil type, or you can put it in yourself. You can also put in your allowable depletions. We mentioned the 25 and 50% depletions earlier. You can change these up and customize it to your particular situation. Now, rainfall, if you have a large grove, you may have many sections that have one rain gauge associated with those different irrigation zones. So one rain gauge may supply information for a number of zones, and that's what we have here. You can enter a number of rain gauges and then tie it to a specific block so that you only have to enter the rain for that rain gauge once. Then you select your source through FON, and if you select FON, it'll ask you for the FON station you want the data to come from. Now, we've made this very site-specific. You can go through those that information input that I just gave you. If you have a relatively small number of blocks, that's the way you can do it. We've also modified this so the same information appears in a spreadsheet, just a Excel-type spreadsheet. So you can enter a large number of blocks, copy and paste all the information into that spreadsheet all at one time, and it goes into the system. So we've tried to make that as simple for you as possible. Crop water uptake and stress index are calculated. Field-specific irrigation schedules are output, and then you can determine water use by each field. The irrigation scheduling gives you a date that you should irrigate. It actually gives you an amount for 3 days. So when it determines that you need to irrigate, it will give you an amount, and it'll give you 3 days. So if you want to irrigate a day early, if it's more convenient for you to irrigate a day early, it will give you a reduced amount of irrigation time to run for that day early. If you can't irrigate on the day that the irrigation schedule program determines you should irrigate, it'll give you a slightly longer run time for the next day, so that you'll be sure that you filled the soil up to fill capacity. So those are the kinds of information that you would get out of this system. Okay, that's the same block information as before. These are just some example data that Orangeco has provided for us. These are their soil moisture sensors looking at last year. The red marks are irrigations. The blue are rainfall. So you can see that the soil moisture sensors respond to these irrigation and rainfall events. During the summer, it goes up because of the elevated water table from the rainfall. The water content is higher, and then it falls again towards the fall of the year. Look at the data from our simulations. We get a very similar pattern. Again, these are irrigation and rainfall. These are the outputs that we see as far as water content in our moisture from our simulations, and you can see the same type of process. We've gone through this last summer looking at this time period. Originally, the model was designed for ridge, where we don't have to worry about water tables. What we've done is we've built in a water table into the system, so it actually generates where we expect a water table to be, and we can have that water table rise and fall based on the amount of rainfall that we have. So here you can see the elevated soil water content from the irrigation, or from the rainfall, and then it falls again in the summer, or in the fall, excuse me. Then if you compare the two, this is an output that Orange Co. has provided, kind of tracking what they consider their allowable depletions through the year in this green area. The black is their soil moisture sensors going through. The red is what we've estimated using our model. And you can tell from March through the end of October, we're right in that same zone. We had some, in this particular example, we have some bad data in there giving us some erroneous values in the fall. But in this area where we're doing the majority of our irrigation in the spring, and then where we have dry periods in the summer, where we have to supply some irrigation, that's where we're concentrating our efforts with this program. Now, the other thing we've done with this, Orange Co. uses Motorola systems for their irrigation control. We've modified this program so that information from that system can be put into the program for irrigation runtime, rain gauges, and those kinds of things. So there's, in his case, there's no manual entry of much data at all on a daily basis. And if Motorola is being used by most growers here, so that's why we've made those changes, and we're looking at possibility of making changes for other systems as well. I want to go on to phone apps that we've developed. This is what we're calling Smart Irrigation, a series of apps. This is for citrus. We have strawberry, turf grass. We're working with the University of Georgia, and they've developed one for cotton. We're working on one for peanuts right now. Tomato will be coming along. Other row crops like cabbage will have an app, but this one is for citrus. This is the map you'll get initially, and these are all fawn sites, these pins in the map. And you select the fawn site you want. It's very similar to the app on the fawn site, except you can save information. I have several growers using this right now, and they like this feature very much, where you can enter in information for specific blocks. And every time you update your irrigation schedule, all of these blocks will be updated at the same time. So you update it once, you get all of your schedules, and you can go through your entire list and look at how you need to modify your irrigation pattern. This also has a feature that it will give you notices, so that once a week it'll automatically update your schedules. You don't even have to initialize it. You just go to it, you'll see the updated schedules. So this is what the registered fields will look like. You can give them whatever name you know the block by. It has all the information here for the model. Then the schedule, you just click on whatever field you want to look at. In this case, it was field 01, and it gives you the schedule. Much like the one on fawn, it'll be every 3 days for 5 hours and 40 minutes. That's the schedule. And then it gives you some information about rainfall. If you have less than 1/4 of an inch of rainfall, you delay your irrigation by 1 day. So if you're in the middle of this 3-day irrigation interval and you get 1/4 of an inch rain, you just irrigate 1 day later for the same amount of time. If you have 1/4 to a half, it may be a 3-day delay, and the rest of these you can see are 3-day delays over a 1/4 of an inch rain. And the reason for that is 1/4 of an inch has filled that soil water or that soil profile up to fill capacity in this case. And so you would just wait for the next irrigation cycle. There are some other information that comes along with it. We connect this to the National Weather Service forecast, and it gives you the forecast both on an hourly basis during the day and for the next several days. It'll give you temperatures, estimated rainfall, wind speeds, and so forth. Now this is a notification page, so it's updating these on specific days. In this case, you can have them all updated or selected ones. This is the same information, just the number of fields that are saved and another example of a forecast.